Hi, Joanna. Let's take a look at what you wrote in your new set of essays. This is about the reasons for pollution and what we can do about it. The world is growing more populated, especially in metropolitan areas where life is often hectic. This can lead to increased pollution and various types of waste disposal. Some causes and solutions of pollution in big cities will be discussed in this essay. Okay, so I like the first sentence. I had a problem with the second sentence. You wrote, this can lead to increased pollution. And then what are you saying? It can lead to various types of waste disposal. That doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't understand that at all. And then I really felt like there was no link between this sentence and the last sentence. So part of it has to do with this, obviously. But then, how about something like causes, or how about the reasons behind these problems and some potential solutions will be discussed in this essay. That feels a little more linked than what you wrote. So that's one suggestion for you. Let's keep going. Pollution is caused by both environmental and behavioral factors. With the growth of the population in large cities, the number of motor vehicles as well as factories is increasing. This has resulted in a rising amount of emissions, it's in plural, of harmful pollutants from cars and factories that contribute to more severe air pollution. Besides, the heavy traffic and high volume of industrial activities, such as construction work in the city, also produce noise pollution. Get rid of that D. And then besides is a little awkward here. Let's select a different linker. You could say furthermore, additionally. Any one of those would be better. Okay. In the areas of behavioral factors, people often choose to drive and eat fast food instead of taking public transport or cooking at home to save time in fast-paced cities. Okay. The growing use of private car and single-use plastic products, such as food containers, bags, and straws, also has a significant impact on the environment. Okay, I got to be honest with you. I didn't know where you were going with this. So when I saw um, people choosing to drive and eat fast food, I was very confused about where you were going. Maybe you could have explained it to us before we actually read it. That might be a good thing to think about. So um, let's see. In areas of behavioral issues, certain lifestyle choices people make also lead to increased pollution. People often choose to drive and eat fast food instead of taking public transport. Okay, now it makes sense because you essentially went straight into your example and you didn't really tell us what the main idea was. So a sentence like what I just suggested would have probably sounded better. All right, let's keep going. Nevertheless, there are many ways to assist. I don't understand this. Control pollution? No, let's fix that. Nevertheless, there are many ways to limit urban pollution. There you go. One way is for the government to develop policies and regulations that force businesses, factories, and individuals to reduce their pollution output. This can be done through a variety of means, such as enforcing laws to limit harmful emissions from factories, raising environmental tax on petrol and transport, or offering subsidies to companies manufacturing eco-friendly goods. All right, what would be nice is if you could tell us how these are solutions. If you just leave it here, it's going to read like a list of solutions without really much development. Another way is through education. What? Another way is through education. I don't understand this. So as to raise public awareness on the importance of environmental protection. I don't understand this sentence, I'm afraid. For example, people should be encouraged to use public transportation, bring reusable bags for shopping, and reusable containers for food storage. Okay, again, it feels like a list. Tell me how your solution is a solution. Why is it a solution? Okay, so You could just add one extra sentence that this would be a solution because there would be fewer single-use plastics in our landfills and polluting our water. Okay, so tell me how and why. Okay, don't just give me the solution, but tell me how it's a solution. While there is no single solution to the problem of pollution, by adopting a variety of different measures and collaboration by the government, business, and individual, significant progress may be made in reducing pollution. Okay, that's nice. So I found that most of your grammar was really good. I found that your ideas were relevant. I thought that, cohesion was good. I want you to take some of these ideas just a step further. Okay. And I mentioned where I thought that you could have done a little more work in extending your ideas. Okay. So that's what I want you to take away from this task 2 today. Let's take a look at your task 1. It's a stacked bar chart about car sales. Let's see what you said here. The bar chart illustrates the sales distribution of Audi, BMW, and Ford in 9 countries in Europe in 2018, with total selling figures ranging from 90,000 in Belgium to nearly 400,000 in Hungary. All right, I would have taken this out. Don't even include that. That doesn't belong in introduction. Your introduction should have stopped right here. Okay, my suggestion to you then would be to write the overview. It looks like you put it at the end, but we'll talk about that a little later. Among the 3 brands, Audi not has shown. You just already told us that it's in 2018, so it should all be past simple tense. Among the 3 brands, Audi showed the lowest market share with less than 10,000 sold in UK, Belgium, and Italy. Yeah. Okay. While in Italy, Ford sales were as low as Audi's, showing that Italians love BMW the most. Besides, I don't like the besides here. In Germany, sales of Ford were exceptionally low when compared to Audi, wrong word, and BMW, which share the market sales. Okay, great, but we have no idea what those figures are. In contrast, Ford made over 90,000 sales in Belgium, whereas BMW and Audi only had 5,000 each. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm finding this really, really hard to follow. I feel like you're really flip-flopping and there's no, like you're selecting one thing to talk about, okay? And you're focusing just on the individual car sales themselves, okay? After I finish reading this, I'll make some suggestions to you as to how you could have done this. On the other hand, okay, the 3 automobile brand sales in Hungary, France, Ireland, and Poland were more evenly spread out with respect to figures of this, and this, in which Hungary and France, it's not Francis, France had the top 2 sales among the chosen 9 countries. Okay. In conclusion, the popularity of 3 brands of vehicles in Europe varied with a D in different countries. It is apparent that in areas with higher overall vehicle sales, the distribution was more equally split, while dominance was observed in places with less customers purchasing cars. All right, that's an interesting overview. I haven't seen that one before. Now let's talk about what I think you could have and should have done. Your grammar was good. Your vocabulary was good. Your overview was interesting. I haven't seen one like that before, so I'm fine with it. As long as it's accurate, which is what I want to check. So the high, it's not entirely accurate. I got to be honest with you, because if you look, okay, this is obviously, the highest number and it's evenly divided. This is the second highest number. I would not say this is evenly divided. I would say that it's clearly BMW and then Ford and then Audi. Okay. And here too, in the ones that follow, there's a definite preference. So I wouldn't say that your overview is entirely accurate. Okay. Now let me tell you what I would have done here. First of all, let's talk about what a stacked bar chart is and why it is like this. Because what they do here is they want you to focus on the total number, okay? That is the thing that you should be really kind of concentrating on. And then what they do, the reason why it's stacked is they want to show you what went into making that total. So in Hungary, for example, they want you to know that, yeah, it was about like 390,000, but it was around 130,000 for each of those cars. Okay. So in contrast, in Belgium, there was like nothing sold unless it was a Ford. Okay. So that's why it's stacked so that you can focus on those total numbers. But just as importantly, you can focus on what went into making those total numbers. So that being said, here's how I would suggest dividing the paragraphs for this. I would have one paragraph that talked just about the totals. And it doesn't have to be a super long paragraph. It could be relatively brief. So um, when you have a lot of information, like you do here, you've got 36 pieces of information. You cannot and should not mention everything. So let's talk about what you could and should talk about. First of all, use these numbers along the side. They're there to help you. So I would have a paragraph saying that among the 9 countries, the country that sold the highest number of cars was Hungary with just under 400,000. The fewest cars were sold in Belgium with under 100,000. Actually, let me back up. I would say Hungary, and then it would go to France. It was followed by France at just over 300,000. In contrast, the least number of cars sold were in Belgium at under 100,000, and it was followed by Italy with just over 100. The remaining countries all sold between I can't speak tonight, between 200 and 275,000 cars. Okay, that's the end of your first paragraph. Then you want to go into the individual car companies. So for me, I would have pretty much one sentence for BMW. I would say that BMW sold more or less 100,000 cars, roughly 100,000 cars, in 8 of the 9 countries. The only exception was Belgium, where a negligible amount was sold. Okay, and then I would tell you that I would talk about Ford, where Ford cars were very popular in 2 countries specifically, Hungary and Holland. A very small amount of Fords were sold in Germany and Italy. I would say what that number is. And then again, I would group. I would tell you in the remaining countries, Ford sold between whatever this number is, 60,000 and 100,000 cars, something like that. And then, of course, you do something very similar with Audi, okay? With Audi, you can see 2 countries sold a lot, 3 countries sold very little. That's it, you're done. All right, so you have to mention some of these figures here, especially if you're just focusing on like 4 countries. So you would say, for Ford, for example, Hungary sold this many. Hungary and Germany rather sold this many. The least were sold in Belgium and followed by the UK and Italy with X number, and then that's it. So you have to give some information. But that's how I would do this, and it's a way of covering all the important points, showing you what the key pieces of information are, but then all those numbers that just kind of, get smushed together in the middle, you don't really have to get into a lot of detail about that, okay? So that's how I would do this. Go ahead, think about these suggestions. Let's see what you can apply in your next set of essays. I'll be looking forward to it, so good luck to you.